I think tactically and positionally, we didn't get it wrong. The lineup failed us. And I don't want to go, oh, it's Jesus Ferreira starting it. That's why we lost. But you could see that Weston McKennie didn't have the energy today. He was fatigued.
Yeah.
He was giving it all. I thought Christian was actually pretty on it for having that an injury, playing down a man. Jesus shouldn't have been starting. I think Weston McKennie, you could have put Brent Aronson there to start. You could have went with obviously Gio Reyna looked good. He not an issue for me, but I think tactically they clogged up the middle. They allowed Walker Zimmerman or Tim Ream to have space to come up, and then they countered. They said we're gonna lock up the middle. Virgil van Dijk didn't even look like he broke a sweat. They locked down the midfield. They let us play wide. Serginho Dest had some moments early on the game because Daley Blind's not a good defender, but if he keeps everything in front of him, he doesn't have to work. And we
legit, by the way, made all Manchester United's biggest flops ever look like stars again today. That it's one of those games where it's like someone's going to come in for these guys, Blind and Depay for a large amount of money. Sorry to cut you off there, Charlie. Jimmy, I'm going to throw it back to you real quick. With this performance of this team, Charlie touched on it a little bit. We touched on it throughout, where we kept saying 26 players. Wow, they're going to look how many players are going to play. How do you whatever? We went with almost the same team. We like that, but then when you look at that, and never mind the first 20, 30, 45 minutes, when we got into crunch time, right, when we were within a goal, 70th minute, it just felt like we had hit a wall to me, right? It felt like we had the fatigue of playing the same team. We didn't have that second win where usually when the U.S. gets a little momentum, similar to what we saw with Japan or Korea or other nations that are energy-driven, you see this shift. And I just really didn't see that shift. And maybe that was because of the tactics of Netherlands, but also part of it felt like we just didn't have that energy to say, okay, we got our chance. Let's make the most of it. What was your take on just the overall energy levels of this team in this match that Charlie mentioned?
Yeah, so hopefully you guys still got me. I think I maybe dropped off there a little bit. What I wanted to say is that I thought that Gregg got his starting lineups right in every single game except this one. And what's hard is that he said that he was going to be married to these particular strikers, right? We have 3 strikers, and those 3 strikers are going to play that position. We're not going to play a false 9. And then all of a sudden, when we need a goal, we go to a false 9. And I found that to be quite interesting. And it gets me a little frustrated because why wouldn't we have done that at some point during our friendlies? Why wouldn't we have done that, at least tried it, maybe even World Cup qualifying? And then in desperation, we try it. So that frustrates me a little bit. I thought that I agree with Charlie. I thought the tactics from Louis van Gaal were amazing. They were spot on. They did a good job, but once our center backs got the ball, you saw Memphis Depay and Cody Gakpo just drop off to our outside backs. They just cut off that pass to them and not allowing them to start attacks. Now, what's interesting is when I thought about even in our preview, the limited time I had on the preview, I know that the wingbacks were going to be a really pivotal spot on the field. And Dest did not win his against Daley Blind. Daley Blind scored. And then on the other side, Denzel Dumfries has a goal and 2 assists. And so Anthony Robinson definitely didn't win that. And it kind of
Daley Blind had a goal and assist.
Yeah, the goal and assist. Yeah, exactly. So their wingbacks absolutely ate us up. And that was always going to be, as our guys bombed forward. I don't feel like we got ever taken advantage of when they bombed forward. Maybe once or twice. Maybe I'll take that back. Maybe it was a little bit more than that. But we got out. I don't know if it was, maybe we got out coached, but I think we just got outclassed in general. And I did want to say that even if Christian had scored first, I still don't know if we go on to win that game.
Yeah.
I just didn't see enough from us. And I think we were tired. We looked a little leggy. And I don't know. Go ahead, Heath.
Charlie, on that first chance with Christian Pulisic, did it not to you feel like it was a little bit of like he thought he was offside because you rarely find yourself with that much space at that point in the game, and therefore it was sort of like a half, it's going to call it back type of thing anyway? I mean, because he had a lot of different options he could have taken. And in that situation, yes, Jimmy said that it would have been hard to hold this team off because tactically the Netherlands were brilliant. And I actually credit our tactics a lot of the way of this World Cup, of being able to win the midfield, of being able to be clever at the right times, being able to force other teams to adjust. They ate us up. They knew exactly what to do and win. They knew exactly where to neutralize us. They won the midfield battle against what I think is our midfield, and which we talked about being one of the best in the world.